Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Milo Pony Friendship is Magic, Season 9, Episode 6. So yeah, we've got another episode this week, and we're getting to things at a fairly good time today. Just as a note, this week's JoJo is actually a recap episode, and I'm not doing the recap episodes. I'm not reacting to those because they're recap episodes. I don't really feel the need to react to those. So we won't be doing any JoJo this week, which makes things a little easier on me, to be completely honest. So yeah, we're doing MLP today, and this season's been great so far. I mean, not every episode has been, like, the best thing ever, but it's been great overall. And as usual, I know nothing about what's to come. I don't know anything about this episode. I've kept spoiler-free, luckily enough. But I'm excited to see what we have. I'm excited to see how this season is going to continue to go, because as the final season, it's proving to be a fantastic way out, a fantastic finale to this amazing series. So yeah, so far I would probably say my favorite is the 200th episode, just in terms of writing and characterizations and stuff. I think it just did the best at all of that. And not because it was the 200th episode, because as I said before, it didn't really feel super special other than the fact that it was written by the voice actors, which is a big thing, and it's great, but it's not because of the 200th episode. It's just and it wasn't fully written by the voice actors, it was just the story was designed by them. You know what I mean. But it was just really, really freaking good. So yeah, I know nothing about what's to come in this episode, but I'm hoping to like it, so we're just going to get on with this reaction. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then it fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay, so I looked it up, and Meredith Salinger is just straight up Patton Oswalt's wife. His new wife, I guess. Yeah, his new wife as of 2017, actually, because I remember I did hear that his old wife did pass away, unfortunately. But that makes this dynamic even better, in my opinion, because we have Quibblepants going out with this character who is voiced by Patton Oswalt's wife, and she has a daughter voiced by Patton Oswalt and Meredith Salinger's daughter. So that's just really cool. It's a really cool dynamic, and it really helps them feel more natural, and they did very much actually feel natural in their interactions. As for the episode itself, back when Quibblepants was first introduced, I did like him as a character. I really enjoyed his episode before, and I did want to see more of him, so I'm definitely glad that we get to before the series ends. This entire concept of this episode was actually pretty fun. The idea of Quibble trying to impress his girlfriend's daughter in order to, form a bond and connection with her before he eventually tries to take the relationship further into marriage. And he's trying to do everything he can to appeal to her. She loves Buckball, especially because her father had been sporty. Now, we don't know what happened with her father. It could be a divorce, or it could be even death. He could just be gone, sort of like how Applejack's parents are. It never actually says. So it's really hard to, say on that front. But either way, it could be seen either way. So kids who have dealt with divorced parents, or even a parent's death, could relate to this. and could connect with it. Especially ones who are living with a single mother and who's dating someone who they may not trust as much. And I get that. It's definitely a very relatable episode in that way. Now, my parents are divorced, but it's been I was an adult before that happened, so I don't fully understand like the feelings of a kid going through that. But yeah, I I could just imagine. Um, but I liked seeing how Quibble was like so legitimately um, invested in doing everything he could to try and impress her and to try and connect with her, even going against his own nature. I mean, he is by nature a very nerdy pony. He's just not a sportsy type, and I can definitely relate with that. I mean, I'll watch sports on occasion, like I'll watch the Super Bowl every year. On occasion, I'll watch baseball. If I get a chance to go to a baseball game, I'll go to it. I don't hate sports, but for the and even I even understand some rules and just general gameplay of a lot of the sports. But in general, it's like it doesn't appeal to me as much as the nerdier stuff, like anime, cartoons, YouTube videos, video games, tabletop games, even. That kind of stuff appeals to me much, much more. And I've been in situations where people have tried to change me regarding that. People have tried to tell me that I should be into sports. Um, that I should be into all this kind of just general stuff that you would think people would be into, especially when I identified as male, falsely, but still. And for those who even still consider me such, people have tried to get me, have tried to use like terms like, oh, you need to be a man, you need to be into sports and beer and fixing cars and shit like that. It's like, I know nothing about cars. I couldn't tell you the first thing about a car or what's under the hood or anything. I don't know. When people talk about cars, I am completely lost. But it's like I can hold a detailed conversation about stuff like Harry Potter or MLP or Steven Universe. And it's like because that stuff is what interests me. It's not even so much like my fault or anything. It's not something I'm trying to do. It's just that's what my mind enjoys. It's what my mind connects with. It's what I just gravitate towards. My mind understands it and retains that information much more and retains interest in that information much more. So I definitely understand what Quibble's going through here. I was a little annoyed when it started going with Rainbow Dash trying to turn him into a sports pony. I don't like that kind of thing, as I just basically kind of said. But it did go where I was thinking it was going to and where I was hoping it was going to, where he didn't need to change in the end. In fact, it even came from Rainbow. But the thing is, she didn't have to learn it. It almost seemed like she knew it the entire time, but was just trying to help him out because it's what he wanted. Which, I mean, is very possible, I guess. But I think if she knew it the entire time, she should have told him. She should have just said something. Um, and yeah, we had some smaller role stuff from Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy and Snips and Snails, and their parts were all good and well and good. We also, besides just the return of Quibble Pants, we had the return of Buckball. Ever since Buckball was first introduced in the episode Buckball Season, it's really just been a really fascinating part of this world's culture. Yes, it was back at that point it was a very small thing, and more recently, as we now find out, it's become a lot bigger of a sport to where we have all of these teams around Equestria actually competing in tournaments against each other. Um, I don't think it's like quite on the same level as something like the NFL is to our world. I don't think it's quite that big. But the point is, it is a lot bigger. It's a countrywide event now. And so it's really interesting to see. They even have a museum dedicated to it and shit. So yeah, that's really fun. Um, and just overall, I found this episode pretty enjoyable. The pacing was done well. Again, a very relatable issue, and not even just for the kids who watch this, adults who watch this. Maybe a woman, a single mother, is watching this with her daughter, and maybe they can both get something from it. Maybe a guy who is dating a single mother with a daughter can get something from this. The point is, there's a lot of people who can get something, even if you're single at the moment. This could help you just understand like how to handle things a little better in that kind of relationship. It's really cool that they did this too, because you don't really see you haven't really seen a lot of relationship stuff with this series. A lot of the time, the relationships you do see, romantic wise, have been married couples, or at least couples getting married. And before that, they were just single characters. Like you have Cadence and Shining Armor introduced with their wedding. You have Cranky and Matilda introduced and then pretty much not even really seen again that often until their wedding, especially not together. And before that, both of those couples were just single people, or ponies, or creatures, donkeys, whatever. You get what I'm talking about. Most of these pairings have just been done like that. And then a lot of the other couples you see are already married, like Mr. and Mrs. Cake, or even the Apple parents, or just any of the other parents. So it's the only other scenario we've gotten in the show where there's been active dating. Well, actually, there's two now. Was first with Big Mac and Sugar Belle, and then with Maud and Mudbriar. And both of those examples, once again, are two single ponies coming together who have either never been like legitimately with anyone before, or have never been in especially a marriage. But then we have, again, this is so much different because Quibble Pants, he's single and everything, and he's probably been single outside of maybe having a couple relationships here and there. But he is dating a mare who is a mother. She had a husband. And again, whether they got divorced or whether he died, honestly doesn't matter. The point is, she is a single mother to a child. She had a child with someone else. It's a completely different dynamic than anything we've seen in this show before. And it's fascinating. And I think by having Meredith Salinger and I think it was Alice is their daughter's name? It's not going to say here, is it? I'm on Meredith Salinger's page, so it's probably not going to. Yeah, it would probably say on Patton Oswalt's page, but either way, by having those three specifically voice these three characters, again, it felt more natural and felt just more real in terms of their relationship and all. And the thing is, Meredith Salinger and Patton Oswalt got engaged and married in 2017. And Patton Oswalt's previous wife died in 2016, Michelle McNamara. Let me see. I'm on his page now. I want to check something here. Okay, so his daughter was born in 2009. So she's currently 10 years old. April 2009, so definitely 10 years old at this point. And that means that, yeah, she was already Patton Oswalt's daughter. So, although it was kind of reversed here, they definitely probably understand that situation, this couple. Because maybe their daughter had to deal with Patton Oswalt finding love with Meredith, and had to deal with learning to like her and not and not comparing too much with her former mother, Michelle McNamara. And it's just like, it's very possible. I do not know at all if that's the case. I'm only saying it could be. And if that is the case, then it did help in how natural this felt and how realistic this felt. Again, just obviously from a different angle. Instead of he was the single father with the daughter instead of the single mother with the daughter. But either way, yeah, this episode was pretty good, pretty damn good. I'm gonna have to see it a couple more times to really say how good it was. Yeah, I feel like I need to see it a couple more times. It's by no means at this point, just from my first watch, it's by no means bad. It's very good. It's just I don't know exactly where I would place it or what I would rank it or whatnot. But yeah, I can't say it enough. I just really appreciate the authenticity brought on by them including Patton Oswalt's actual family in here, and giving a situation that I'm sure, at least to some degree, that they can relate to. And I really hope that that people really appreciate this episode because of that kind of thing. And although it was obvious that Patton's daughter was a inexperienced child actress, I thought she did fairly well for, like, probably what was her first role. I thought she did fairly well, and I'm very happy that she got to do this. Because I have heard in the past that Patton first got into the show by watching with his daughter. So she was probably really excited to be in the show. I mean, heck, for all we know, her character might have been her OC in a way. Either way, there was a lot of cuteness in this episode. It was well written, it was well paced, and I thought it was really well handled. And a really well handling of a realistic and honestly important subject matter. So yeah, tell me in the comments below what you thought of this episode, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.
And though you've come through many obstacles,